From WTDG Toledo, Bridges, with your host, Doni Miller, connecting our community with information about issues and opportunities.
Good Sunday morning and welcome to Bridges. My name is Doni Miller. I'm so glad to have you with us today. If you're a Bridges watcher, you know that from time to time we partner with Mike Miller and Tom Pounds at the Free Press, Toledo Free Press, to highlight issues of extreme importance to improving the quality of life in this community. And if you've been a regular Bridges watcher, you will see that our guests here today are people that you've heard from before, and that is because we're giving you the end information sort of on a campaign called the Roundup Campaign that has been going on in Lucas County for quite a bit in partnership with Churchill Supermarkets. We are all about feeding Lucas County children, and with us today to talk about the importance of that and the progress we've made and all the work we still have to do and why we need your help are Tony Simonek, who's the director of Feed Lucas County Children, and Kathy Apple Hans. I got it right that time. I've been messing it up all morning. Who's a volunteer extraordinaire with that project.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's what I heard. That's what everybody says about you when you leave the room. It's so good to have you both here. Great to have you here. Let's bring people back in focus in terms of exactly how difficult a problem this is for Lucas County.
Wow, where do we start on this?
I can't believe you're going to have trouble starting.
Well, you know, just trying to address the issue of hunger and the children, that can be pretty challenging.
Yeah, huge problem in this community.
Oh my goodness. You know, right now we're looking at a little over 24,000 kids that Donnie, that live below the poverty range just in this county alone.
Yeah.
That's a lot of kids that try to reach out to. And so, but we're making some really good progress. We're pretty excited about it. And it's nice to have people like Kathy helping us out.
I remember that when you were here last time, and we introduced the Roundup program to the community, one of the things that really struck my heart was the discussion about kids who were doing something called dumpster diving. Is that right? Or trash can diving or something like that, which essentially means, for those of you who have not heard that term before, that kids in this community, our kids are getting their meals from whatever they can find in the trash can. And we talked about that a bit last week, or last time you were here, and it's, even for people like me who work in the community all the time, I think it just takes your breath away.
When school closes, a lot of these kids who are school age, they have no place to go. Their parents, a lot of these kids are from single parent households. Some are very undereducated about nutrition, and frankly, when the school closes their school lunch programs, these kids don't get to eat until summer rolls around and Feed Lucas County Children steps in.
Yeah, and that's another thing we talked about too last time in terms of putting this in perspective. School is critical for these kids for more than just the A, B's, and C's of it all. It's critical for these kids because that's where they're getting their best meals of the day sometimes.
Yeah, and you know, Donnie, we work with a lot of these schools even during the school year, and some of the schools that we've partnered with, we've been able to help increase the number of kids that will get to school on time with a good breakfast. It really surprises us every year, the number of kids that once they know that there is something good at school, they're going to be there on time.
Right.
It's amazing. And then you get to talk to the teachers, and then they can tell who's really, you know, they're a little bit more alert, there's more of a focus. And, you know, what else can you say? But it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Hungry kids are not kids that learn well. You've got a hungry kid, he's already distracted because his belly's growling. He needs something to eat. And as far as performance, if you've got a child who's well-nourished and well-fed, you've got a better student.
Yeah, 24,000 kids in this situation in our county. And how many meals are you guys doing, however you measure them, monthly, weekly?
Well, we look at the meals on a daily basis because, you know, just like, for example, here yesterday, you know, we also provide these meals in a lot of parks, but the temperature was so high that some of the kids didn't show up because of the temperature.
But you guys went out anyway.
But we went out anyway. But we have a lot of places where the kids were there waiting. I mean, yeah, it's pretty hot, but they're still there waiting for the food.
And they're still hungry no matter what the temperature is, whether it's 40 degrees or 102 degrees.
Sure.
They're still hungry. And it might be that only meal that they actually will get to eat for the day.
Yeah. Again, do you have any idea of the number of meals you're serving?
You know, each day is going to be a little different, but it could be anything from 3,100 to 6,200 meals in a day.
In a day?
In a day.
3,000 meals a day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. That 3,000 is not a big day for us. And we want to keep something in mind that, you know, some of these places, some of the churches or the schools or the parks or the other nonprofit agencies, they may have a breakfast and a lunch. And then some of these places, we may just do a dinner. And so it's a big mixture of different places. Each neighborhood's a little different, and when we partner with different neighborhoods, we're able to work with them and tailor that meal to what's going to best fit the kids in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's amazing. It doesn't sound like a lot to you, but 3,100 meals a day.
No, that's
an enormous amount.
No, it's interesting. Since this big community effort started 10 years ago, this is our 10th summer, that we have people come into the kitchen and they start looking and they watch and they go, oh my goodness, how is this possible? Where we just kind of sit there and go, well, it's really not that big of a deal.
Not that big a deal.
Not that big of a
And I
deal.
was really excited to learn. I think Channel 13 is one of the most, perhaps the most progressive television stations in the state. But you tell me, in underscoring that we were upfront in helping to get this effort started in 2002?
2002. We have to give credit to Channel 13 when these community partnerships were coming together. It's kind of hard to do something like that until you get somebody in the media involved. And we called Channel 13 and we said, hey, this is what we're going to do. A lot of some of the other media, you know, okay, and they didn't show up, but Channel 13
but we showed up.
13 showed up, and we said, hey, this is what we're going to do. There's going to be this big community initiative come together. There's going to be a lot of agencies and organizations, and we're not going to talk about hunger, because a lot of times in this country there's a lot of talk and no action, and we take action. And Channel 13 showed up, and they said, oh, this is awesome, let's do it. And they helped get us the attention right off the bat, which then got the wheels rolling, which then started creating more people to get involved. And so it's gone from, like, you know, 2 sites of feeding children in the summer of '02 to where we've been over 100 sites in this county.
Oh my gosh,
and that's over.
Absolutely amazing.
Oh,
that's good. See, so why would you guys watch any other station? Come on. This is where you ought to be. So you, Kathy, were a nurse for a lot of years, and there was something. Still a nurse. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. And there was something about this program that just grabbed your attention and just pulled you right in, because Tony tells me that you are just a fabulous asset to this project.
Those are kind words. I'm not sure fabulous is correct, but I'm an RN, and I worked with Mercy Health Partners, and I still do, in a couple different capacities. And a couple years ago, I had the opportunity to retire my full-time job, still work as a nurse for Mercy Health Partners, and a friend who's also a friend of Tony's asked me if I wanted a summer job, and I said, I really don't need another job. I've got a lot of part-time jobs. I don't need another job. She said,
what was it about the program that just pulled you in?
Kids who were in need, and as a nurse, I've worked as a visiting nurse, and I've also worked as a county jail nurse. I've worked as a hospital nurse, and most recently in some community-type settings. And she said, you'll like this job. She said,
and you like it.
I do.
The best thing about it for you, and I'm doing
is knowing that you're helping kids.
Right, and I want people to hear you say that, because at the end of the day, we really want people to understand the gravity of this issue and the importance of lending your hands and your heart to this effort. And if someone like you, who was busy and had a really full life, carved time out to
if you want something accomplished, you don't ask somebody who's got a lot of free time. You ask somebody who's already busy.
Yeah, that's what they say.
And you carve out that time. And this last year, I worked as a monitor. I supervised and audited and monitored about 12 different sites on the east side because I live out towards the east. And this year, our mutual friend called, who also works in his office, and said, "Would you want to do a little PR?" And I said, "I don't work in business. I'm not a PR person." She says, and we were both nurses, and she said, "But you can talk to people, and you've worked in the public and in the community." So it was a good fit.
Great fit for you. And what you take away from this is helping these kids.
Just so satisfied that what little bit that you are contributing could be helping a huge number of people.
Now, you were with Mercy?
I still am.
You still are with Mercy. Okay,
so over 35 years.
35 years with Mercy. And so the issues of hunger were probably not so foreign to you.
My first job as a nurse, I started in pediatrics, and I worked there for 3 years in the pediatrics department at one of the hospitals. And there was a great need even back in the 70s. There was still a great need.
Yeah.
And kids that came in sick were those that a lot of times didn't have good nutrition, or their parents were not able to provide it for whatever reason.
Right. You don't, as I recall, take. You're not a food bank.
No, we're not a food bank, Donnie. We're not a soup kitchen. What makes this program so unique is that we just prepare really nice, hot, balanced meals for these kids. There's no paperwork involved for them. Well. Actually, we've been told even at the state level that probably one of the highest quality menus that kids get in Ohio.
Out there. All right.
Yep.
When we come back, I'm going to talk about how we did with the Roundup program and how people can get involved. Feed Lucas County Kids. Say it 3 times. Feed Lucas County Kids. I want you to remember it because I want you to think about getting involved in this effort. We got to go away, but we will be right back.